What's good, YouTube? Alright, check it out. I'm gonna make this video because I've gotten asked this question many times from clients and obviously just people in the studio, people at the gym, people online. So I figured that's the reason I made this YouTube channel in the first place, was to explain things to people and help educate people on certain things. Now, in today's video, I'm gonna be going over how to know whether or not a protein powder is good, right for you, what protein powder should you take. I'm gonna be going over tips from not only my experience, but also just logical things that people may not realize or think of when it comes to looking at or purchasing a protein powder. So, this is the one I use, not saying it's the best, but I figured it's a protein video and I'm just gonna have a protein powder in it. Make sense? Good. All right, so check it out. You know, I've got a video up on protein powder and, you know, certain studies and everything done on it. So you can figure out whether or not you really should be taking protein powder by checking out that video. You can click the link right here, it'll take you to it. But you know, even still, people decide they wanna take protein. Okay, they'll come to me and they'll say, hey, like, is this a good protein powder? The other day, my client, what do you think of this protein powder? And there's so many different ones on the market, countless protein powders, countless marketing, countless contradicting claims and evidence and all that stuff. But I decided I'm gonna make a little series on this actually. I've got the supplement segment. This one's different, where I'm gonna go through the different supplements and explain how you know which one is good and which one is not. I decided to take a pre-workout or a protein or a creatine. How can you tell one better than the other? So be looking out for more videos on this series. And if you want me to do one on a specific supplement you're looking into, go ahead and comment below and I'll be sure to bring that video to you ASAP. To basically have a bit of a safeguard, safety net when it comes to buying a protein powder. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off this list. First thing you want to check out is company credibility. All right, so you know there's a million different protein powders out there, and most are from unknown brands. Now, it's not to say that these unknown brands are not making good proteins. You're just a lot safer and better off going with protein powders that come from well-known brands that have stood through the test of time. All right, now there's a little caveat that goes with that. Regardless of companies, you want to make sure that the company is credible and has not been found to put banned substances in their products, or, you know, amino spiking, which is a topic for a whole nother video, you know, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, you got companies like, let's say, Muscle Tech. If these companies are still around after all this time, it's because they haven't messed with their products in a way that would essentially cause their company to deteriorate. So you're better off going with the well-known brands, although you may potentially, not necessarily always the case, but you may potentially have to pay the slightest premium for a brand that's more established. I think since you're putting this into your body, it's probably a better idea to spend that extra cash for this investment that you're putting in yourself. Another thing, you know, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you're looking at protein powders and it's extremely cheap, you know, considering protein is a commodity being traded, there's definitely high risk for potential fakes out there, or people doing what's called amino spiking, like I mentioned, where they're essentially lying on the label. And let's say one says it's got 30 grams of protein per serving, and it's not necessarily the case. They're actually filling in amino acids in there that don't react the same as the protein, as whey protein, for example. So you're actually getting poor quality and it's not good at all, and it's a complete lie. Unfortunately, some companies do that. And again, those companies will be weeded out eventually. So stick to credibility and avoid very, very cheap protein. All right, so once you establish that, okay, this is a well-known brand and there's many well-known brands, so how do I distinguish this well-known brand between another well-known brand? Well, next thing you're gonna wanna look at is the ingredient label, okay, the protein content. Now, let me paint a scenario for you. So my client hands me a tub and I look at the label, of course, I look at the ingredient list, I look at the nutrition label, right? And I notice, okay, it says, let's say 12 grams of protein in a serving, whereas this one has 24 grams. So don't be so quick to think, well, this one has more, it's better. Obviously, something's different here. The other one that has 12 grams, it also shows that the 1 scoop serving size is only about 16 grams, whereas this one is 33 grams. So if you were to double that, you know, if I said 16, so at 32 grams per scoop on the other protein, you're actually getting 24 grams of protein. And here per 33 servings, you're getting 24 grams. So technically, looking at it at the smallest, most technical scale, this would actually have less protein, even though on the nutrition label it doesn't necessarily show that right off the bat. Okay, from there you're gonna look at the price per serving. So if this one is, let's say, 10-20 cents cheaper per serving, well then you gotta think, you know, this one's probably the better option because that price is gonna even out that 1 gram of protein less you're getting per serving. So from that, you're probably thinking, well, you gotta nitpick a lot to determine a good protein from a bad one. That's not the case. What I'm trying to say, 1 gram of protein per scoop doesn't make a difference. It does. We gotta look at overall balance. You know, is one that much more than the other? If one has 10 grams of protein per 20 gram scoop, this has 24 per 30 gram scoop, this one's obviously better bang for your buck. You're gonna get more protein, which is essentially what you want from a protein powder. You want it to be majority protein. You know, another thing is to be careful of ones that say meal replacement supplement. Okay, they may market both as a protein and a meal replacement supplement. Be careful for those because they do have high fat and high carb content as well. Not saying that's a bad thing, but when it comes to protein powder, in my opinion, the best way to go is something that's very high in protein and low in the other macronutrients. Because protein may be a very difficult macro for people to get into their diets, that's where the protein powder comes in, to fill in that void. Okay, if you're getting extra carbs and fats with that, then you're not necessarily gonna be matching the protein levels you need without going over on the other ones. I hope that makes sense. And another thing I wanna throw in there is, you know, a general guideline, usually protein powders, and you'll see this very commonly across most of the well-known protein powders, is they'll have somewhere around 20 to 27 grams of protein per scoop, okay, per about 30 gram scoop. So if you get protein powders that say they have 35 grams of protein per scoop, and their scoop is less than 35 grams, that's an immediate red flag. Stay away from those because they're probably falsely marketing and putting incorrect information on their labels. So definitely be careful for that. So you've got the brand. This one has more protein per serving. What's next? Another thing you want to look at is the reviews online. Make sure that other people agree that this is a good protein. But from there, you got to test out something. So before you go ahead and buy a big 5-pound tub like this, you're gonna wanna find a sample pack, okay? You can find these at supplement stores, GNC's, Popeyes, or if you're in the States, wherever else you would get supplements, or bodybuilding.com, you can probably get some smaller serving sizes. I would definitely recommend looking into those first. It's gonna cost you a little bit more per serving, but you're gonna actually find out a few things. One is the mixability factor. So some protein powders don't mix as well as others, and some mix very, very poorly. You wanna be careful for the ones that mix poorly because they're probably not going through as good of a process as one that mixed better. Another thing you wanna look for is the taste. If you're gonna be drinking protein powder, let's say, on a daily or weekly basis, you wanna make sure it's something that you can handle. So you're gonna wanna try out the tastes, different flavors. Very important thing is to see how the protein reacts with your body. Okay, now there's definitely years of my life where I found that it was consuming protein powder, specific brands, specific kinds of protein powders that would not sit well with my stomach. And I know that's a very common thing out there as well. So you wanna make sure that you're testing out the protein and seeing if it has any sort of compatibility issues with your body first. Another thing is, in the ingredients, you know, what are you gonna be using it for and what's your lifestyle? If you're a vegan, obviously you're gonna wanna look into more vegan protein powder options, okay? But the same rules apply. You're looking at the stuff like Vega or Progressive that have been around for a long time and are very recognizable and credible. Okay, you wanna look at the labels, all that stuff. So it's very simple figuring out which protein is good. And it's not necessarily one is better than the other when it comes to, let's say, a very well-known brand versus another well-known brand. Then it's gonna come down to actual protein content. There's isolate proteins, there's whey concentrates, and there's casein. So the difference is whey protein concentrate powders are, you know, a very small amount of carbs, a little bit of fat sometimes in it, and a moderate amount of protein. Isolates, which are more expensive, are gonna have almost no carbs and fats at all and be almost all protein. And caseins are gonna be a different kind of protein that are gonna release over a long period of time. So from there, to determine what's best for the protein you should be taking, just look at your goals, look at what you're using it for. Are you using something before bed because you can't find a good high protein snack before bed to have a sustained release of protein? Then you wanna go with casein. In which case, go to the casein protein category and search through what I mentioned. Look at credibility and look at if it suits you. Look at flavors, try it out, try the flavor, try the compatibility, try the mixability. Now you're probably thinking, I just want to know what protein's best. Why can't you just name some proteins for me? It makes no sense that way because everybody's body's different, and there's a reason there's so many different protein powders on the market, because some will appeal better to others. You know, in this case, this is the one I'm with right now. It's called the Nitro Tech by Muscle Tech. I found it to be very good taste-wise, and I tried a sample beforehand. Muscle Tech is a very well-known brand. The deal was amazing that I got off bodybuilding.com. The price per serving was good. The protein content is fair, 24 grams, 33 gram scoop. It doesn't seem like they're lying there. Got tons of awards. The reviews were high. You know, the flavor ratings were high as well. My compatibility with the product is good. So that's all you need to look for, okay? Make sure that you're not getting confused or tricked by these labels that claim insane amounts of protein, or labels that show very small amounts of protein, but it's a smaller scoop. You gotta understand how to read these labels. So that's how you do it. There's so many different things to look at, but that is the basic things you wanna look for to know which protein powder should you buy. I hope that helps, and I hope that helps you make the decision. Next time you're looking for a protein powder, don't stress about it too much. It's not the end of the world. It's just a supplement at the end of the day, and it's not gonna give you all of your gains, okay? It's just there to help. It's there as a backup plan. But if you wanna make the right investment and the right backup plan choice, then definitely follow this list. Next time you walk into your local GNC or wherever it is that you're gonna buy this, go off those steps and I guarantee you, you'll find the right one. Cheers guys, thanks so much for watching. Be looking out for more videos, more episodes on this stuff. If you liked it, if you learned something, if you're gonna apply this, comment and hit the like button below. Consider subscribing if you want more fitness content coming your way, and just genuine content that's gonna help you get to your goals as quickly as possible. No BS, I got you covered. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.